Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Hernandez, and I want to start off by saying I lived in the United States for 18 years. I'm 18 years old now. Through my journey, I have experienced good things, bad things, things that overall I have witnessed in my experience of life. Most of all, because a good amount of it is due to my ethnicity. I am a Mexican male, and for those reasons, I've experienced some controversial journeys that have brought me to believe that we as a society have a racial gap. So we are we are segregated and racially profiled by the way we talk, by the way we look, and by the traditions we have. The society we live today has yet to reach that point where we can live in peace as a whole community. Our country is a mix of nationalities and cultures with different views of the country in which they live in. We are built off many countries. We are not just one. We are the most diverse country in the entire world, which is a good thing for us because it means we're different. We don't want to be the same compared to others. It would be a lie to say that living in a country so diverse would be a dream lifestyle for anyone who wants to be whoever they want, not caring about what they look like, what is their original language they came with, or what they started, or what's the first thing they learned. It's just who they are. They shouldn't be afraid of being who they are as a person, what defines them. But the sad truth is that we are far from that. We live in a country where we take one step forward and then two steps back. For example, we abolished slavery back in 1865, but still plantation owners were able to allow sharecropping where African Americans were able to still tend the plantations, but it was legal. And to go further into time, before the civil rights movement, people were not allowed to participate in dining in diners. You weren't able to sit wherever you want to sit in the bus. You weren't able to grab a cup of coffee somewhere. The restrooms were segregated. Water fountains were segregated. People weren't treated fairly. And after we were able to have the civil rights, it was peaceful time for a little bit, not too much, because all good things must come to an end, as sad as that sounds. To elaborate, since Donald Trump has come into his tenure and is based on his campaign in 2016, there has been a rise of races, a rise of a racist community in between the white Southerners, which is where he based off his campaign, getting those people who were scared in a way to express how they truly feel towards other ethnic people. These people were not able to really express how they feel because they did not have someone to lead them by example, someone who had the courage themselves to give courage to others to express how they feel. Since then, there has been a dramatic increase in racial segregation, in which, once again, going back to before civil rights, people aren't treated the same way. They're still giving backlash towards African Americans, Mexican Americans, Asian Americans. If you're not white, you're basically treated differently. The most tragic part is that since 2015, there has been a dramatic increase in hate crimes, which I want to focus on mass shootings, which have been white people. Since 2015, there has been 40 more white shootings against other ethnic cultural groups, like, for example, the synagogue, where a white man went and gunned down many people just because he felt that it was his duty as a white man to cleanse, to so basically what I'm trying to say is they're cleansing that spot to get rid of Islamic people, because Islamic people are seen as ISIS, they're seen as Al Qaeda, they're seen as someone who are inhumane and should not be treated the same way. Also, there has been a complete disaster between how others feel and how our president feels himself, in which he believes immigration is a big key role, which he has a point. We have an immigration problem, and it should be treated to a fair extent, but also because it is against your beliefs that you strongly believe that we should. Everyone should be treated fairly, not because they are immigrants. They should be treated like animals. They're humans. Everyone's a human. Everyone should be treated the same way. So, because of our president, we are seeing a rise of discomfort between ethnic groups and white groups, where in fact we should come together to coerce into being a whole, a community. We should be one peat in the pod. We should be working together to be that example for everyone else, to lead and say, oh, if they're able to do it, live together without there being a racial bias, then other countries can do that and move forward. So in order for us to make a difference, we should start with our young. No one is born racist. No one is born saying, ooh, I don't like him behind this color. For me personally, I've never seen race. I've always seen personalities and characters from some of my first friends. Where actually I had a black friend by the name of Trey and an Asian friend whose name was Dang Vang. As funny as that sounds. And we always got along together and never really had problems until growing up I realized that my friend Trey was treated differently by other white kids, even though during preschool and kindergarten they were really good friends. And it was later on we learned as high schoolers that their parents were the ones teaching them that, oh, black people, Mexican people, Asian, non-white people aren't considered the same as others. They're not superior. They don't have that superiority compared to what white people have. So my call out to everyone is we should focus on our young, teach them to respect others growing up and being more elaborate with what they see, to get to know someone and just be friends with them and understand where they're coming from. Make friends with them. Don't think for yourself. Don't believe what other people think. Don't listen to what other people tell you about someone just because of what they think is right when in reality it's inhumane. You can't go off with someone who's super biased and be like, oh yeah, he's black, he can't do that, or he's Mexican, they're only good for field workers. No, people can go on and do whatever they can do, be whatever they want to be. We should be living in a country where everyone is comfortable with who they are and not have to look over their shoulder and be scared of who's judging and who's not. So my call out to everyone is start with their young, teach them right from wrong, and everything starts with one step. Let's take one step forward instead of taking two steps back. Let's go one step at a time, one generation at a time, and make a difference in our world.